Welcome back to Absolutely Marvel and DC. My name is Benny. That is Dylan. Nowhere to lie. I almost said I'm Dylan. That's Benny, and it wasn't going to be a joke. I was confused.
We can swap for a day. That's fine.
We can swap for a day? Okay, cool. We'll see how that works out. If you like this type of content, a bunch of guys sitting around reviewing your favorite TV shows, talking about rumors, theories, trailers, make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you hit like. We do almost daily content here, and we have a blast doing it, and we'd love for you to be a part of it. So today we're going to talk about Peacemaker Episode 4. And Dylan, you didn't join me last week.
Nope. I was sick with something. Food poisoning.
Before we get into 4, what is your 1 through 3 quick take? Hot take.
I love this show. I love the characters. I have some hang-ups about a couple of them, but mostly it's just because I think they're not my type of humor. I really, really enjoy Peacemaker and Harcourt. I think they're both very solid characters. I think delving into 4 a little bit, not enough Harcourt. I want more Harcourt in this show.
Yeah, Harcourt's great. I like what they're doing with her.
Yeah. But I think, I have been a staunch defender of John Cena as an actor. Like, I don't go all the way back to the wrestling time, but like ever since I saw him in the Fred movies, I've loved John Cena. So
okay.
And he was still just John Cena the wrestler there, but he was just
I've never seen him as not John Cena. I've never seen him in anything I disliked is what I should say. Is what I meant. So.
There's a movie with Amy Schumer in it where she has sex with John Cena or something at some point, and he's just like he shows up and it's like, oh, that he's like the only actor in this movie. Like the movie's not good from what I remember, aside from John Cena's parts. But yeah, he's fantastic. I love what they're doing with this show. A lot of what you guys talked about in last week, I resonate with. It's just, James Gunn doing his James Gunn shit where it's just unlikable, terrible people that you end up feeling for. And it's just so expertly done. And I really enjoy this show.
So here's your episode 4 recap. If you, because now we're doing a single episode, I can do a proper recap again. We pick up almost immediately after where we left off, where they had just seen the first butterfly being out of a head. Vigilante and John Cena's character, Peacemaker, they head back and they're starting to kind of go over everything. We start off with Vigilante messing with his toe and they have a debate about whether or not he can balance or not. I found it hilarious because I Googled and what they said is true. Apparently it will mess with your balance. Okay. I was like, there's no way that's true. No, it is. Yeah.
That's the point of toes. So
we go through that scene. We discover that Judo Master is still alive. I thought he was dead. I thought they just turned his brain to mush and that was the end of him.
When he gets up and he comes out of the closet and he somehow has a bag of chips. What a good bit that he just is constantly eating chips.
So Judo Master, we discover, they head back and we start to kind of like go through a couple things. Peacemaker, we're all kind of decompressing from everything we discovered, but we don't discuss the butterflies. Peacemaker ends up going back to try and go to his home. He goes to find out about his father. That's kind of like the core of this particular episode. What's happening with them? We do find what I think is going to be the villain. I don't even know her name in the show. She was I just know her as the woman from Orange is the New Black.
Adebayo. I looked it up because it's Adebayo. I've never heard that's her last name in the show, but that's what they call her because everyone goes by their last names in this show.
Right.
But yeah, I looked it up specifically because she's one of the characters I don't like in this show.
Yeah. Adebayo apparently has something more going on. We then go into the prison. We discover more about Peacemaker's relationship with his father, which I think is the core of this episode. Like his father is just terrible. But we also touch on that he is White Devil, that he does have a quantum dimension. All of that supervillain stuff actually happened. And Vigilante tries to kill him and fails horribly. I thought it was White Devil, because that would make more sense to be a racist villain.
That's what
Maybe
I was
he's White Dragon.
I remember thinking, like, why? That's so funny that he would choose White Dragon when dragons are, like, not an American, like, white thing.
Yeah. No, it is
like,
White Dragon.
He wouldn't know that. Like, he just thinks, like, that's really funny to me that he just thinks, like, oh, dragons are cool. Even though it's like, well, dragons are an Eastern thing.
And for the record, he's actually a villain of Hawkman.
Of Hawkman? Really?
The original villain fought
Is he
the
a
Suicide
Nazi in
Squad.
the comics, or is
Yes.
that just this show?
He's a neo-Nazi
Okay.
in a power suit of armor. He was a
Why
member of the Aryan
Hawkman?
Empire. And then he became a villain of the Suicide Squad for like 1 or 2 issues. And then he became Hawkman's villain. They moved him over there.
Wow, what a choice.
So anyway, we discover all of that. Go back. Vigilante goes in, tries to kill him. Judo Master gets up. They have their rematch, which is why I started to think that maybe she's actually doing some stuff because she manipulates Vigilante. She manipulates that. We discover the past of him.
Yeah.
And I just love that he's kept this butterfly in the jar and blowing smoke in it and just hanging out with it like it's a pet.
Yeah, I think I like that he took it, and I like the way that they shot it, because it very much, like, they shot it in a way last episode where it's like you don't really know what happened, but it's not like bum 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 what happened. It's just they cut before you can think about it. And by the time he's explaining that he shot it, you're like, okay, that's plausible. They just didn't want to show that. And then he brings it out. I was like, oh, that makes sense. But talking about Adebayo a little bit, I like her more in this episode. The reason I didn't like her in the first 3 episodes is because I felt like they were trying to do the same arc that Peacemaker has in this show with her, where it's like the stuff we're doing is messed up and we should like have morals about it. But I think that they changed it slightly in this episode. Where like, yeah, that's still kind of what she's doing, but her being Amanda Waller's daughter is more important, because there's a lot of like shit talking Amanda Waller in this show, and clearly she has a complicated relationship with her. And I think the stuff that you're hinting at, like she's planning, I don't think she's planning anything. I think the show is just trying to turn her into Amanda Waller, but she's nice, if that makes sense.
I see. So the Vigilante thing I felt was just her finally kind of, okay, I have to do my job, or she convinced a Vigilante to go kill Peacemaker's dad.
I don't think she realized she was doing that. I think that's because a lot of the Waller and what's his name, when the guy who's like helming the whole operation, when he said that she was hired on because Waller believed in her, and Waller said that to her, that she was like ready, she's got to take on her birthright or whatever. I think that's just how she operates. She's just a manipulative person. She just doesn't realize it. And that's...
See, I thought that, for me, I thought she knew what she was doing because of the way the camera angles were being played, where she was turning to Vigilante at keywords. So I feel like she knew what she was doing, but the one that cemented that there's more going on, because at first I just thought, okay, that's just her seeing if she can do it, or like you said, not fully aware of what she's doing. When she took the shot
she clearly
at
knew
Judo Master.
what she was doing. I don't think she I don't think she went into that conversation with the intention to tell Vigilante to go kill Nazi man.
Nazi man.
But I think it's just, like, she just kind of stumbled into it, which is interesting. I think that's an interesting take of like, she's just as manipulative as Amanda Waller, but in a different way. I think that's cool.
Yeah. Well, for me, I feel like this is all a 10, and I feel like there might be something going on because of the shot she took at Judo Master. Because they made sure to make it a point that she had never even shot a gun. Never mind the fact, killed a man. And then she was able, and I might be reading too much into it just because I know firearms, but the fact that she was able to shoot past Peacemaker with a dead shot right in his chest.
Well, that is interesting. Did they say that she's never shot? Yeah, they did say she's never shot a gun.
They made sure to emphasize she never shot, never killed, because that was hardcore, being like, you still haven't. You know what I mean? Like they were harping.
How does she go through? Because she mentioned all the training that she's been through. How does she go through all that training without even firing a gun before?
I don't know, but
that seems sketchy.
Right, and then the way the shot the Judo Master went down, it wasn't like a shoulder shot because they're keeping him alive. She got him dead in the chest and past Peacemaker.
Right here.
Yeah. So I might be reading too much into it just because I know firearms training. I know shooting past a person, if you've never shot a gun, is going to be a tricky shot. She didn't seem very remorseful at all, but she didn't even want to shoot the guard. I don't know if she's converting over, if she's planning it. I'm starting to wonder if she's the actual villain, but the cliffhanger, now I'm wondering what's going on. Because I'm wondering if she's the villain to find the mole. We discovered the mole's actually, what's his name?
I don't know his name.
Marin?
Let me look up his name.
It's like, it starts with an M, and I want to say menu, but it's not, obviously.
Menu?
It's close, the way it's spelled, I think. Hold on, I'm finding it now.
Everybody's got archaic
Danielle
names
Brooks, that's
show.
the actress that plays her. No one's got a real name, except Mern. That was it.
What? Mern?
Mern. It's
Mern.
Murn. So you can see why my brain just went to menu.
Menu. Yeah. I think so. Like the show starts with Adebayo's introduction is that Waller's like, we have our own separate plan here. I imagine Waller knows that Mern is a butterfly, and Adebayo's been sent to like do something about it.
I don't think that they know Waller knows. I think Waller knows somebody is. So
Yeah,
that's why
fair.
that's why she planted Peacemaker and her daughter in there. Mm-hmm. That's what I think is going on. But now I'm wondering if her character maybe has more going on. Maybe she's manipulating. Maybe this is going to be how she's going to try to get back at, like all these possibilities. I don't know, but I'm liking the implications that are going on.
Yeah, I think there's definitely something going on with her character, and I think it's because the first 3 episodes it seemed kind of like she's kind of a chore, like to be around this team where she doesn't want to do anything, and I think like Harcourt talking to her and telling her that she's gonna have to make hard calls finally. She's clearly very receptive to that because like she immediately sent her wife away, and like the next chance she got, the next chance she got to shoot someone, she pulled the trigger.
I mean, and that could be all it is. Her character development is her willing to take the shot. And like I said, but like, I don't know.
I think if I had to guess, and this might just be me wanting this to happen, I think because we have 2 like points where they develop her character in this episode. It's her subtly manipulating Vigilante and her directly shooting someone. And she didn't feel bad about manipulating Vigilante to the point that she just told everyone that she did that without thinking it was a bad thing. But she felt horrible about shooting Judo Master. So I think that's like I
love that Judo Master's just bandaged up now, just laying on the couch. Oh, yeah, he's still alive.
He's not going to go anywhere. He can't move. He's probably paralyzed. But like one, I see one of those as like shooting someone in cold blood. That's a very Amanda Waller thing to do. And then like just manipulating someone to make them think that they want to do something. That is not a very Amanda Waller thing to do.
Yeah.
So I think that's an interesting like dichotomy that they're doing with the character that I didn't expect. So that's,
I mean, so she had a great one. Peacemaker also had a great flashback to his childhood. We get to see more about why he does what he does and like what's going on. I loved that one, and that was the big highlight. But for me, I actually was surprised by the fact that we actually developed Vigilante a little bit in this episode. I kind of assumed he was just going to be the goofy sidekick for the show and just
right. He's gonna be Deadpool.
Yeah, he was just going to be Deadpool for the entirety of the show, and we weren't going to get anything out of it. But we actually spun him into like more character development because when he tried to kill the father and realized he messed up, that was the first time we've seen him admit, "Oh, okay, I messed up." Also saw him kick ass. Like I thought he was just
a sick scene. I thought
he was going to be terrible because when he fought Judo Master and tried to run, I was like, okay, so he just doesn't know how to fight. Like that's his thing,
right? I enjoyed that because that's such a classic scene where like somebody goes into prison and like infiltrates their gang only to eventually betray them. I'm glad that he sat down and was immediately like, "You all suck and are racist," instead of just being like, "Hey guys," because I thought he was gonna be like, "Hey, we all hate black people, right?" But no, he was like, "Fuck all of you." I'm just instigating.
Let's talk about our favorite thing that black people have done in the last. I was like, what? He's just going in.
Which is great. And it's like, so like his character is really interesting too. This show's all about character. So like obviously all the characters
that's James
are, like,
Gunn though.
Super dope. Yeah, 100%. And I think like, again, that's another thing in the first 3 episodes, like you just said, like we kind of expect Vigilante just to be sort of the comic relief crazy person. But then in this episode, it's like, well, he's actually like kind of a very vulnerable guy who doesn't really know what the hell he's doing. And
his whole speech with Peacemaker in the car about letting your best friend get better by almost letting his pinky toe get cut off. Like, like the whole passive aggressiveness of that. And it kept going. And I was like, you're right. He's a vulnerable guy who just really just wants to be friends with Peacemaker and do superhero stuff. That's what he wants. Like,
yeah. And again, like we're talking about this character, like we want him to get better, but also he's a psychopathic murderer, which is just, that's good writing.
Yeah. Like him with the sniper rifle, just taking out the kids and the wife. Like not even
I love that scene. I know that was a couple episodes ago, but the scene of of Peacemaker freaking out and then him just being like, "Hey, buddy, like move over. I got this."
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, that's cool.
It was great. Okay, so Peacemaker had great. I loved Vigilante's development of this episode. Where do you think we're going? Every episode leaves on a cliffhanger. I don't know what is happening. I can't guess or speculate because it's like, oh, so he's got a. I was like, oh, he's got a butterfly in the jar. So we're gonna find out that the butterflies actually have a good motive because he's gonna somehow talk to it, or he's gonna do something stupid. But no, there's a butterfly in the group. Like, oh no. What is going on? And then again, like we kind of set it up like the butterflies are evil and they're aliens. And Judo Master's like, you don't know what's happening. They're actually, which is the other reason why I was wondering if she's planning things, because not only did she get a perfect shot, but right when he was revealing something.
Interesting. Yeah, I didn't think about that. I mean, I will say I'm very uninterested in the plot of this show, but like I'm not saying that as a ding because I know that James Gunn is also uninterested in the plot of this show. Like that's the point. When you break down a lot of like media like this, where it's all about the characters, the plot usually doesn't matter because if you have a convoluted or even not a convoluted plot, if you have like a heavy emphasis on plot in like a show or a movie about characters, then your characters are going to get bogged down. Like, you watch any sitcom, who gives a shit what's happening?
Oh yeah. The plot is just why this team is together. Because you can't just have the team together for no reason. You need to have a reason that this group of people, Harcourt, Diebeard, Waller's daughter, and Menu all got together.
Menu.
Why they're all together, you need to have that reason, and this is the reason. This is why Peacemaker's here, dealing with his father issues, and Vigilante's on board because he's back in town and all this stuff. So, I'm excited. I've been loving this show since it started. I'll say here in the show, I had to pick. I didn't have to pick, but I chose watching this instead of Boba Fett and let them take Boba Fett. So I'm off Boba Fett. I'm done with it.
Boba Fett was I tend to watch things in order of like care, and this was the bottom of the list because I was like, I want to watch Peacemaker like last. It was Boba Fett, Superman and Lois, okay, and then Peacemaker. Let's go.
Yeah, I do that too. You get through the ones that you got to do for the job, and then we go to the one we want to watch.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, so
save the best for last.
But yeah, that's it. Let us know where you think this plot is going, because I don't know what plot in the comics this is referencing, and I don't think it is. I even Googled butterflies, and there's no plot involving the butterflies. DC Comics, I'll do it again to see if it comes up before someone tells me, you just didn't look deep enough. Yeah, if you Google it, it just comes up with the show. That's what comes up.
Right. That makes sense.
So, and we do have Madame Butterfly, who was a Japanese woman, her true identity unknown. During the war, her lover, intelligence officer, was killed alongside an admiral, and she developed a hatred for the West.
Oh no, I was gonna say, isn't that a boss in Sekiro? But I think that's Lady Butterfly.
I think Madame Butterfly is also in Venture Brothers.
Not a very original.
I know the Monarch's in that, but I think Madame Butterfly is another thing in that one.
I see.
She doesn't fight any villains though. She fights World War II soldiers.
Interesting. The butterflies are time-traveling soldiers from World War II.
That's our theory? Are we going with that?
Yeah, totally.
Okay. You heard it right here. If it turns out to be I wouldn't even put it past James Gunn. Time-traveling enemies for World War II. James Gunn could pull it off.
And one of them is Peacemaker's little brother. There you go.
All right. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let us know in the comments down below. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and join the Absolute Army today by hitting that notification bell. We'll see you next time.